Hello everybody, welcome back to That Fiction Life. So many of you are going to be very, very proud of me because I am embarking on a journey that I have promised for the longest time, and that is reading Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Some of you may know this little story about how I tried to read Six of Crows and absolutely hated it because I had no history with the world, and I think that is a big problem because it's the same as sort of reading a random Cassandra Clare book within the Shadowhunters universe. And so I thought I would start where you are supposed to and actually read the original trilogy, especially since we are getting a Netflix TV show. This is going to be a reading vlog because I feel as though enough people have read this book that I can just ramble on with spoilers. So as far as I understand, this book follows Alina, who unearths this sort of power within her that she didn't know that she had. She joins her country's military elite. I'm so excited to meet the darkling in this book because I've heard so many stories just generally from scrolling the internet. Please don't write any spoilers from books 2 and 3 below because I've not read them, but feel free to rave about book 1. So without further ado, I'm going to begin reading this book. I'm so excited, I can't even tell you. Okay, I'm gonna read a Leigh Bardugo book. The time has come, I am ready. So since I also have the audiobook, I decided to listen to it while I cook, and I've reached the point where Alina has a little bit of an audience with the darkling. This is our first sort of introduction to him, but I've yet to understand everyone's obsession. I do really like Alina's voice. I think that she's a really good protagonist to carry the story through, even though I am genuinely only about an hour and a half into the audiobook. A very tropey thing has occurred right now where Alina discovers her power, and that is such a big thing in every fantasy book where a character doesn't know that they possess some sort of magical ability. So in Alina's point of view, she thinks everyone's insane for thinking that she is the one that made them survive with this attack. And it's such a trope. Oh, I didn't cause any of this. I didn't know I'm the most powerful being in the world. But I do like her. I'm intrigued by this world, even though I'm very, very confused by this plotline. The narrator's very good, so I don't know if I'm going to go back to the physical copy just yet. It's about 9 PM now. The day has gotten away from me. I've only actually made it to 59 pages. I'm about to end a chapter and some things are heating up, and I thought I would give you a final day 1 update. I am obsessed with Ivan and Alina's sort of banter. It's not really friendly banter, they sort of hate each other, I guess. When Aline gets healed by the person and she jumps out of the coach, and Ivan says that they need to carry less weight, and Alina says, "You look heavier than she does." And then when Ivan accuses her of hiding her power her whole life, that she must have faked it, Alina says, "No, I didn't know, yet here we are." She is so sassy and I'm here for it because I relate. I am still a little bit confused about the world. You're kind of thrown into it, but the darkling is sort of getting into the plot now. They're on the same coach and they're being attacked, and why do I always have to love the homicidal maniac? It's going really well so far. I am so surprised that I love this book so much because I really had a different experience trying Six of Crows. I will read a little bit tonight just now before going to sleep, and I'm so excited to see how this all plays out because it's heating up. Also, I'm very surprised that this book started with such a bang because usually it takes so long for me to get very intrigued with a story. Here we're only at 50-ish pages and there have been battles, there have been deaths, there have been attacks. So while I am a little bit confused about the world, the fact that we have so much action really keeps you intrigued right at the start. So hope to learn more about these people. So I skipped a day. It was a very busy day yesterday, so I just didn't have time to sit down and fully talk to you. It was a video day, which means there was editing and designing and all sorts of things, but my Gossip Girl video where I dressed up as Blair to recommend you books if you like the show is finally up, so you can check that out. As for the book, I've reached 170 pages. I'm zooming through this so quickly. This sort of reads as the old school YA, you know, when you would just get the feels at the most tropey plot lines. A lot of things have happened. Firstly, Alina was attacked by Zoya, who we don't like, and we have also had, I made a list because I'm a professional, there's been so much angst between the Darkling and Alina, and I don't recall seeing spoilers about this. From what I know, just from being on the internet for the last few years, is that the Darkling has some sort of toxic relationship with someone, and I'm now thinking that it's Alina. You are all laughing at me if you've read the book. I didn't think that's where it was going to go at first, but I guess it is following that very tropey, the main protagonist is falling for the sort of villain, which he's not really a villain right now, but I do know that this is where the series is heading. But I do appreciate that little bit of angst between them, especially in that scene where Alina gets attacked by the assassin and the Darkling cuts him in half. That was a very iconic scene because afterwards, Alina's a little bit shaken up, and when people are asking, oh, how we're going to proceed with this journey, where's the girl going to go, and the Darkling says, the girl rides with me. Yes. I really like Alina as a character in respect to the Darkling because she fully doesn't give a crap about calling him out. She is very confrontational with him, which I like because everyone is terrified of him, and she sort of laughs in his presence and everyone is really shocked by that. And I like that she's kind of realizing she shouldn't be having any sort of feelings towards him. But their kiss was random as hell. I was so shocked, and not really in a good way, because usually when there's a lot of angst between two characters and then there's a scene where they kind of admit their feelings by accident, there's build up. Here it was so random. I was a little bit taken aback and thinking, what just transpired here? And I personally don't think that was a good place for them to have their first kiss if this develops into anything further, but this scene just felt really out of place for me. So they're looking for this stag right now, and here they need this amplifier for her. Yes, it's tropey as hell, but I'm eating it up because I adore these sort of plot lines. I'm just having such an entertaining time, and that's the thing about this book. Yes, I'm confused as hell about some of the things that are happening. There's not too much world building in this, but I'm still entertained as hell, and I'm still thinking about it every second of the day. I can't wait to get reading every time that I put it down. I'm also intrigued by Ivan, not because he has a sexy vampire name, although it's a big plus for his existence, but I'm intrigued about who he is to the Darkling because there are so many things said in passing about how he has an amplifier, he's so important, he's doing all these things in the background. I kind of want to know more about him. Don't know if I'm reading too much into this. I'm a little bit mad because a thing just occurred and I'm not a fan. So they have their little performance, right? And the Darkling and Alina just making out again, and there's so much promise. But okay, here's the thing. They just have no chemistry, and I feel as though there was no build-up to their relationship, and if this even is a relationship, I'm having a crisis. I've only reached 190 pages as of now, and just not okay with this. I liked their angsty dialogue, but I genuinely like that between any characters they don't have to be romantic interests. And this just feels so out of place. Oh, I should go. Ivan and the others are waiting for me. Keen to get out of this stupid and awkward situation, aren't you? Oh, this bloody priest. Mal just appeared. My friend Holly, who is reading this along with me, she likes Mal a lot. I don't really, just because I don't feel like we know him enough for me to care about the fact that Alina is in love with him. When he turned, I thought I might dissolve from happiness at the sight of the familiar face. See, to her this means a lot, but to us readers, I don't really care. You know, we don't know him that much. He was in the first few chapters and then disappeared. Oh, of course. Okay, he found the stag. This makes a lot of sense. Of course he didn't get any of her letters. This is another trope. I feel like this book is like a collection of all tropes in YA. I'm just waiting for that love triangle now. Okay, drama. Finally some drama. It's not like that. He's all over you. Things. I saw how he looked at you. I like how he looked at me. Oh. There's a lot of information to gain in one chapter. Wow, okay, still not a fan of this Darkling Alina thing. We also don't know enough about the Darkling. I feel as though I've read a lot, but I don't know anything about these people. I'm gonna keep reading and get back to you because I'm so close to the end now. We have this much left because this is bonus material, so it doesn't count. And this is I have 100 pages to go, okay? Some stuff better go down. I need a plot twist. I've made it to 250 pages, which means we only have 50 to go before this book ends. And so much has happened within the last few chapters. First of all, the Darkling has been revealed as the villain. I knew this was coming because I was unfortunately spoiled on the fact that the Darkling has an ulterior motive in this whole plotline, and I honestly cannot say whether I would have been surprised because I don't know. I was kind of waiting for a moment for them to reveal it, but I was surprised that they revealed it to us in book 1. I was anticipating this happening somewhere maybe in book 2. So Alina has gone on the run and Mal has currently found her, so I guess we're getting to know him a little bit more. This whole section really reminds me of the Hunger Games. They're trying to forage the forest. So Alina is definitely going to be found by the end of this book by the Darkling, right? Because that can't have been it. I'm curious. I'm still loving reading this, but it's just so many random scenes. Like even the fact that Mal turned up at the castle, that was the strangest placement for that scene. So it's a great book, but the pieces separately are really strange. Okay, friends, it is done. I've finished a Leigh Bardugo book. We'll now be doing closing arguments for my opinions of the book. So much has occurred. So they killed the stag. That broke my heart because I am somewhat triggered by animals dying. I cannot watch some documentaries because I find it too sad. So that was traumatic. Now travelling to the palace to reintroduce Alina to society. The king has been subdued. Genya has been compromised. Then there's a fight and Alina discovers that she has the power to use the stag to her advantage. That's a twist for the Darkling because he thought that he had all the power, but our girl has more. That's sort of the gist of what I have just read. Okay, so let's talk about the Darkling first because I think this was my biggest anticipation for this book, is that I expected the Darkling to be so much more than he was, and that's not to say I was disappointed with his whole evil demeanour, but I think my expectations were just way too high. I don't know if that's also due to the fact that I knew that he was going to be a villain in this series, but I personally found his progression from fake good to evil not that seamless. Imagine sort of the bomb that was dropped on us that he has been plotting against Alina. Imagine if they had a more gradual and deep relationship and we were sort of falling for the trick and then it's revealed. And yes, I'm not a fan of their relationship at all. I mean, I will never forget that first kiss that they had. It was cringy as hell. I mean, they kissed twice and she's acting like they had been in a relationship for 2 years and he suddenly became evil. I'm just wondering if he was doing all of this evil stuff in the background and we didn't know about it, and then he kind of goes, oh, by the way, I don't actually love you. Now, this was written very well in one of my favourite books. Won't be telling you which it is, but it was done very well because the two characters had a perfect relationship. It came across as so genuine, and in a particular scene it's revealed that he was just using her this whole time, and I will never forget the anger. I have never been so mad at a character in my whole life. I wanted to rip the book, and this is the same impact that this should have had on me. It was random, his whole reveal as the mastermind. He didn't seem as devious and crazy as people made him out to be. I expected to be more chilled by his whole personality. Okay, so some plot twists were very good towards the end, and I love that David seemed to kind of be the one towards the end to uproot everything and sort of be the reason why everything was kind of made possible, and the whole, you know, making of the necklace. I love that the Darkling kept Elena's escape a secret. That was genius because it really showcased his whole, I guess, his protectiveness over his image and how he's always striving to not come across as weak. It really goes back to the start of the book where he was telling Elena that he doesn't often make mistakes, and I think his biggest mistake now was Elena running away under his watch. And I just think that had impact, you know, he's telling everyone that she's just hiding away, whereas this whole time he's been hunting her down with his personal guards. We have to talk about Genya, and there's a little exclusive scene in this edition, if you have it, which is a scene from Genya's perspective, and it's called The Tailor. It's like a little short story, and it's set within the book when her and Elena are sort of hanging out and she's making adjustments to her face, and then she goes off to meet the Darkling, and she talks to us about her whole experience being the Queen's healer, I guess, sort of in a way, and what made her turn to the Darkling side, and how she is the one that has Elena's letters that she wrote to Mal. She was hiding them this whole time, and I did not see that coming. This short story really chilled me to the core, because even seeing Genya's decision to burn the letters in the end and not give them to Elena and sort of play along with the Darkling's plan to make her think that Mal doesn't care for her. So I love this whole world. I love the idea of the Grisha. I can't wait to carry on with this series, but I do wish that the Darkling had lived up to those expectations that I had, and I wish that him and Elena never had a relationship at all, because it just seems futile for the book to make his betrayal such a huge deal after they didn't really even have a relationship. What was the point in the first place of any kind of affection between them? It just didn't need to happen at all if that was the only extent that it was going to go to. Oh, we have to talk about the one thing that shook everyone. Elena actually leaving the people behind. She's so powerful. I'm so proud of her. Yes, this book does have a lot of tropes, but it defies so many of them. You know, you don't expect this very good, heroic character to actually uproot and just leave everyone pretty much to die a little bit and just go on her way. She had very noble reasons for doing it, but I don't think you expected it. I think you expected her to think, yes, the Darkling is evil as hell, but I'm not going to sacrifice all these people. And the fact that she did, I think that's going to unveil some sort of darkness within her. As for the writing, I think the book was definitely very rushed. Some of the things just felt way quicker than they should have. You know, you have Elena suddenly training, then she runs off to the woods, then she comes back and then runs off to the woods again. It was a lot, and I think had this book been longer and we saw more of a gradual journey from her, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. I'm very glad that I read it, because I do have such a thorough understanding of the overall Grisha universe, and I think that will help me a lot when I finally give Six of Crows another go, which I definitely will be now, because I had such a fun time reading this. I haven't fully decided on a rating for this yet, so if you want to find out what that's going to be, definitely add me on Goodreads. My links are always down in the description. So I hope you enjoyed my reading journey of Shadow and Bone. It was such a fun and quick read, and I really do love the characters, and I can't wait to find out more about the world. Make sure to leave your thoughts below, but like I said at the beginning, please don't spoil books 2 and 3 for me. But we can of course talk about this book. Tell me your favourite scenes, who's your favourite character. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching this vlog, and I'll see you next time. Bye!